Hey everyone, welcome to another live. I'm so excited because I've got more time to do lives and talk with you all and do training. And so the topic for today's live is that I see a lot of mistakes that job seekers make when they are looking to apply to new positions. So there are a couple of different things that they do with their resume that is actually hurting their job search a lot. And so what I'm going to do is share those 4 mistakes with you and also give you a way to overcome them because, what is it if I'm only pointing out the mistakes but not telling you how to fix them? So that's what we'll be going over today. So stay till the end of the live so that you can make sure that you know exactly how to overcome all of these problems. And if you're here on the live, just pop in the comments and say hi. Hi, I'm happy that you're here. And it is so very nice to be talking to you. So just to repeat, we're going over 4 of the mistakes that job seekers often make during their job searches, particularly with their resume. And so if you don't know me, of course, I'm the founder of HR for Millennials. And so I come from a recruitment background. So I've done corporate and executive recruitment. And so that's where I'm using all of this information from. So I screen thousands of resumes every year. I hire a bunch of people. I've hired over 200 people in my career. So I'm using not only my experience with hiring a diverse candidate pool, but also as a recruiter, giving you what I'm looking for. So I want you to keep those in mind that I'm not just a job seeker like you. I am somebody who has done recruitment for quite a few years. So let's go ahead and get started. The first reason that your resume is killing your job search is that your resume is boring. I know that probably sounds really terrible to say it, but as a recruiter, if you look at 1,000 resumes a day, which is totally possible for somebody who's only doing recruitment, you want resumes to be fun to look at, interesting to read. You want to feel like you got to know that person through the resume, their experience, what they've done, where they're going. And if your resume is boring, it doesn't have a lot of details, then it's harder to engage and want to talk to you as a person. So keep in mind, of course, that recruiters are only looking at your resume for a couple of seconds. So you really need to grab their attention, and old, out-of-date resumes with terrible formatting just doesn't work, okay? And resumes that are thrown together that you haven't really spent any time and attention on also don't really work because it doesn't help you create a story. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about creating a story with your resume, but keep that in the back of your head that your resume is probably boring if you don't feel like your resume tells your professional story. It's not going to get you a job. It's going to be a lot harder. You're going to spend a lot more time in your job search than you would have otherwise. So just keep that in mind that a resume has to tell a story. It has to be engaging, and it has to be really visually appealing for someone to want to reach out to you. And the way to overcome that is basically by understanding why you're awesome, why you're a great professional, why you're highly talented. And once you know that, you can start to make your resume more engaging because you're actively thinking about what makes you awesome. And if that's what sets you apart from other candidates, that's what's going to get you attention. So see how it all kind of connects to one another. So that's the first thing, your resume is boring. The second thing that I often see with job seekers and the errors that they make is that their resume is confusing. So when I'm reading their resume, it's not clear what they did, where they did it, how long they did it. And it's hard to make sure that you're a good fit for the position that we're looking for because I can't really understand what you're doing. So candidates might say like, oh, I'm an account manager and I sold this many in sales. Well, what did you sell, and is it comparable to what I'm looking for in your experience in this current role? So just make sure you're adding enough information into your resume to make sure that you appear to be the best candidate, a candidate that I'm really interested in, and the more detailed you can be without being long-winded in your resume. Not having a 5-page resume is really going to get you ahead because I can connect and understand and immediately see how you fit. So the way to overcome that is to make sure that you have a clear picture of who you are as a professional, right? That's the biggest way to do that. If you're clear, then your resume will be clear, and the story that you tell will also be clear. So again, all of these are connected. The next one is that your resume is not persuasive. So when I read it, there's nothing that kind of sets you apart. There's nothing that makes you special. I'm not persuaded, so to speak, to give you a call to want to phone screen you, to bring you in for an interview. And so again, a resume is, yes, it's a story, but also it's a marketing tool. So not only do I want to read your story, like your story, connect with you as a professional through your resume, but then I also want to reach out to you and interview you. So keep that in mind. So a resume is not just a story. A resume is also selling your personal and professional brand. We'll talk about personal brand later, but think about that. Who are you as a person and who are you as a professional? Keep that in mind. The next one is that your resume does not have a purpose. So when I read your resume, I don't know who you are, what you do, what your passion is, why you do it. And I think as professionals, we all have to sit down and think at the end of the day, why do I do what I do? Why do I love doing what I do? Why does my passion make me the best person for this position? Because if you can't answer that for your resume, it's going to be even harder to answer that in an interview. And so if I don't really understand, maybe if you came from a marketing background and you're now applying to an HR position, why do I know that that makes you a good fit for the role? It might be something else. You might be able to show how you have a passion for people, or you really love more of the engagement side of people. So you have to think about why you're doing it. And the best way to do that is an objective. So a lot of people knock that out of the park by creating a really tailored objective for them and what their not only their professional story is, but where they're trying to go. And then it makes it really clear that this person just didn't apply just because they were applying to 50,000 job postings out there. You're making it tailored to know exactly what I'm looking for, and you want this position because you have a passion for it. So that's one of the things that you also have to do to be able to create a purpose in your resume, is to say why in your resume that you want this job, why you want this opportunity, why you're looking for this field, this industry. So those are all of those things wrapped up. So if you're here, just say hi in the comments. I'm happy that you joined me. And so just to wrap this whole live up, I know it's pretty short, but I didn't want to take up a lot of time, but I did want to just, again, tell you these mistakes that job seekers are making every single day. I see it every day in their resumes. And so just to go over those again: 1, your resume is boring. 2, your resume is confusing. 3, your resume is not persuasive. And 4, your resume doesn't have a purpose or doesn't sell any of those things to the person, the audience that's looking at them. And you always have to keep in mind that your resume is not just a record of everything that you've done, or just a timeline of who you are, what you've been. It has to be not only a story, but also persuasively sell that stories to others, so that they want to interview you, they want to phone screen you, they want to give you an offer, all of the above. And so my goal has always been and will always be to share with you the information that I have learned as a recruiter and help you get ahead in your career with that information. So if you want to learn more about how you can do this in your resume, I'm actually hosting a free live resume writing class. It's nothing that you have to pay for. All you have to do is register and show up for the information. I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. So if your resume is boring, I'm going to tell you how to be persuasive. If it doesn't have a purpose, I'm going to show you how to get clarity on who you are as a professional and why you do that. If your resume is confusing, I'm going to help you get a little bit more clarity about your purpose, your personal brand, your professional brand. And then once you're done with the live training, you'll be able to put all of that into your resume. So I really want you all to join. I'm having a couple of different trainings. I might have a third one because we're actually filling up, which is awesome. But again, I just want to be able to share this information with you to make sure that you're creating a resume that's going to get you a better response in your job search. So if you're missing any of these things, you're really missing out on opportunities, because your resume is not going to get the attention of recruiters. You're not going to get to the interview and invite for a phone screen, all of those things. So if you really need to sit down and consider, all of these things. When you look at your resume, is it boring? Is it confusing? Is it not persuasive? Does it have a purpose? And if none of these things are lining up, then you really need to consider how much time you need to spend on revising your resume, right? Because once you do that, you're going to make so much, you're going to get so many results in your job search. You're going to start getting more interviews, more phone screens, all that stuff, and ultimately get you to the offer stage of your dream job, right? That's what we all want. So go ahead, and if you're on the live or not, if you're watching this later, there is, of course, the link to the live training there. You just go sign up, pick a time. I have 2 times right now. I think I'll be adding maybe 1 or 2 more because we are filling up, but I do want to make sure that you reserve your seat now so that you kind of lock in your entry into the live training, and I hope that I will see you there because I'm putting so much information in this live, and I know it's going to help you in your job search and your career. So I'll see you then. Bye for now, Mercedes.